All right, we are live.
Ow, ow.
Live.
The Rangers are playing tonight.
Are they playing live?
Yeah, they're playing right now. They hurt my little
Why'd
heart.
you say tonight, not right now? I feel like that would have been the first way to do it.
Because I don't want people to leave and be
Fair
like,
enough,
oh, I have
fair
to
enough.
go watch
That's
the
smart.
game.
That's smart. That's smart.
Ladies and gentlemen, the show is about to start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Not just smart, they heal Mars. They're not just smart, they heal Mars. They're not just smart, they heal Mars. They're not just smart, they heal Mars.
Ladies and gentlemen, fans and friends, we are back once again. I am the custodian of charisma. I am the ophthalmologist of optimism. She is the sultan of sarcasm and the sorceress of sass. I am the ghost. She is the coat. I am Brady. She is Danielle. We are the best friends in all the land. We are the heel marks, and this is the best Ring of Honor after show possible in all the land. It is Mark of Honor, and Ring of Honor just finished real quick. Better look at our 5-minute show, not a long one. Had 8 matches tonight, so this is, once again, we said it last week, this is becoming the norm for Ring of Honor. They are pretty much getting down to a strict 1-hour program. They're getting in, mostly matches, a little bit of a backstage interview here, not as much as we used to get in the hour 30 era, where I feel like we were getting a lot more Lexi, and here and now it's kind of like maybe one segment. Not complaining, just more of these are just observations for what seems to be the new Ring of Honor format.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with it being over only an hour. I mean, if they're just going to do a consistent thing where they're not getting as much backstage segments, they're not doing storylines, okay, just give me some matches.
Right, exactly. Like, if they were going to do more than an hour, it really would have to be kind of on the level of an NXT, where it really is its own brand, and you have consistent storylines, and you're getting, for the most part, the same people. Your champions are always on. You know what I mean? Like, NXT is its own world. So much so that when WWE does a crossover with TNA, they're not coming to Raw, they're not coming to SmackDown, they're coming to NXT, and it still feels like just as big of a deal. And let's be real, AEW would never, like even if they do, like, we've seen them bring some people from New Japan over for a Ring of Honor match, but it'll kind of be like a quick special appearance match, and then on their way to Dynamite or on their way to Collision. It's just, Ring of Honor would have to be treated as if the things that happen on this show really matter. Like, it would take commitment.
Yeah. It's pretty unfortunate because it could be so much fun to crossover stuff and having things. But I mean, I'm happy with what we got. I'm happy with the wrestlers that are on this program.
No, this was a good one. I thought we had a decent amount of matches that did have stakes. We also had a few squash matches, which we've come to get used to here. We've come accustomed to, but even some of those squash matches were followed with some storytelling. So no, this was a good episode. It's one of those things where, like, there are wrestlers that I miss every week. Like, every week there's at least a few wrestlers that I did wish I saw. And it's kind of like, and it's not just, I'm a fan of this person, wish I saw them wrestle. It's more of like, this team has been doing a great job of getting interest from us, the viewers, getting interest from the live crowd. Really would love to see what they're doing tonight. But once again, you take the good, you take the bad, you take it all, and there you have
Ring of Honor.
Right. One thing I did say, just a quick criticism is the fact that they had 2 proving ground matches, which I like. I like the proving ground matches, that they mean something, that they get the champions on the show. They got them out of the way real quick and then followed it up with back-to-back squash matches, which did seem like a bit like you could have split those up a little bit. Maybe start with a proving ground. If you have to go back-to-back squashes, you do it in between and then back to proving ground. So there's a nice balance. But that's just very small complaint. We did start off with the forever champion Athena defeating Viva Van in all her minion leader glory.
She was fun, yelling at the crowd, like working the crowd a little bit, doing the whole thing.
Dude,
like she's the champ of the show. She's MVP. Besides Lex.
And that's another thing. I hate that it's so early and I'm like on this, but it's just another unfortunate thing about the fact that Ring of Honor, in the grand scheme of wrestling shows, really means the least in terms of what they do and what happens here, compared to literally all the programs in AEW and probably all the programs outside, because Athena's doing amazing work, arguably the best work of her career. She's doing it on a damn near weekly basis. She's doing it sometimes with talent who are not as experienced as someone of her stature, as someone she probably should be working with as champion. You know what I mean? So really doing this amazing work, and I don't know that the wrestling world is taking notice. Once again, we talked about how when she popped up for a night on AEW, everyone freaked out like, whoa, Athena's on AEW, holy crap, almost as if they had not seen her in months. And I feel like that's kind of what happens.
Yeah, it speaks a lot, and it's unfortunate because she's doing such great work, and it should be noticed on this show, and it should be noticed everywhere that people want to tune in and see her. So
yeah, and it's not easy. Like, I'm taking nothing away from the talent pool that Ring of Honor pulls from in terms of the quote-unquote jobbers, the enhancement talent. However, it does say something about Athena that, like, I cannot remember a bad match. And we've seen them put her in with, unsigned talent after unsigned talent, people that are not typically wrestling on television. Sometimes people who've only been wrestling for 1-2 years. Athena's consistently having good matches with them. She gets less than 10 minutes to do it, and it's always flawless. Like, Athena's really killing this champion right now, and I think it makes it easier for someone like a Red Velvet or a Queen Aminata or whoever comes next to hop into that feud with her for the championship, get some heat from the crowd because of the amazing and consistent work Athena's been doing.
Yeah, absolutely consistent. The crowd's behind her. She maximizes her minutes. Like we always say, that's the most important thing to do. And if she's like, I'm the only consistent champion on this show, I might as well, maximize my minutes and make myself known. And she's doing a fantastic job.
Right, exactly. It's like we harp on, the show doesn't mean as much as it could, but she's over here like, I don't care about any of that. This is my show. Definitely. Which means it means more than everything else. And if you want to skip Ring of Honor, fine. You're skipping the greatest female champion on TV today. You know what I mean? That's the mindset she carries with her during her entrances. It's the mindset she carries with her when she knocks someone down and then plays to the crowd. Everything she does means something. She's really on another level right now. I don't know her contract status, but we've been seeing a lot of moving pieces in the world. If I was AEW, if I was Ring of Honor, if I was Tony Khan, I'd make sure to have Athena's situation locked up. And for all I know, it is. Maybe she's signed for another 2 years. But if she's not, I'm sure somebody in WWE, in NXT, has a subscription to watch ROH, and they're watching Athena every single week, and they're taking notes. Like, hey,
they
guys.
Need to.
Right. She's just so good.
Yeah, she's so good. I'm so happy for her, too, that she's really flourishing here.
Big time. And it's funny, I spoke last week about how what I love the most about the feud that's happening with the Minions and with Queen Aminata and Red Velvet is that you never really know who's coming for who. Titles are obviously
I thought
involved,
that while I was watching
it is very personal. They all hate each other. So today we get Red Velvet getting a match versus Kel, a match that's obviously supposed to showcase her, enhance her, and I think he did a great job. And this is what I love, how this is essentially a squash match, quote unquote, But what happens? We do get storytelling from it, because immediately following, we get the theme of our champion. We're kind of like, oh, wait, we already saw her, but here we see again. I did kind of have an idea that this was how it's going to go. I thought maybe Athena would be on the stage and then Billy would come in, but boom, it's all set up for Billy. And it's kind of like, Red was not surprised that Athena came out. It's almost like Red's feuding with Athena, but then Billy comes out and it's like, you're not coming for my title. So you know what I mean? I love it. Imagine like a 4-way match where like the first fall is for Billy's title, the second fall is for like Athena's title. You know what I mean? Like just the possibilities are endless because of what they're doing.
Right. And it doesn't necessarily have to mean that we have to put them in championship matches right away. It could just be for building feuds. And like we said with ROH slacking and that, at least they're building feuds here. Billy hitting her with that rubber boot. I was like, oh, ouch. She hit her hard in the face. I was like, oh, Stivsky.
I love that the evolution of Billy does not feel out of place. And what I mean by that is that it did kind of feel out of place when she first was, before winning the title, right?
Mm.
Before winning the title, she was with Athena. She was a heel, but she was always smiley. She was always throwing out the peace sign. That Punk theme did kind of seem like a contrast, almost to the point where I think a lot of people were expecting Billy to eventually go face. It didn't necessarily fit 100%. That puzzle piece couldn't go in there. However, now she didn't really change too much about her character other than she's embraced the chaos. And so now when she comes out smiling and so happy, it fits perfectly because she's shoving everyone's face in it. It's very Harley Quinn, and I love it.
Yeah, no, I'm really liking this little bit of Billy, because I feel like before, leading up to her getting the TV title, like she was still trying to find her place. We were like, wow, they're really giving her the TV championship. She's so new. You know, she's very new to this. She's still, I don't want to use the word green, because she's not green, but, you know, very young. And it's like, wow, she's main eventing. She's doing all this. And she's really taking this character and going with it. And it's really wonderful to see her progress this way.
100%. And I love that it wasn't 100%. Like, I love that they gave Red Velvet a quick comeback where you kind of thought that maybe Billy Stark's newfound confidence, newfound cockiness, the fact that she really is embracing this "we run the show, we're untouchable" mindset of her mentor might have cost Red Velvet. And then she hits her with that big old kick, hits her with that boot, and you're kind of like, okay, you know what? Red Velvet just had a match. Obviously, Billy Starks is taking advantage. Obviously, this is how it needed to go. Well done. So I love seeing our champion stand tall. I love Red Velvet having more reason to just kind of go the other way. It seems like almost every week, one of these champions is calling Red Velvet out. The other champion's calling Queen. Then they kind of trade places. So it's interesting that we didn't see Queen Aminata tonight. I'm sure that'll change next week. Maybe they do something similar to the Queen. So I do love that one of the best stories that's now become a consistent fixture on this program is featuring not just 4 of the best women on the show, but all the champions, rising stars.
Definitely.
This is just a solid story, and the evolution so far has been fantastic.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
Speaking of fantastic, hello, Brady Roberts.
He was robbed.
He was so robbed.
Bullshit. He should have won that match.
Brady Roberts, you officially have a new #1 fan. I don't know who your #1 fan was before, but it is now me.
It's probably his mom.
Brady to Brady. I have never had a wrestler named Brady to cheer for. It didn't happen back in the fucking 80s when the Brady Bunch was popular. It didn't happen when Tom Brady was winning championships. But fuck it. Here we are. Welcome to the show, Brady Roberts.
Yay.
I will root for him forever. Unlike that fucking audience who turned on him when he pulled out the surfboard.
They're monsters. They don't know a good Brady when it hits them in the face with a surfboard.
I'll say this about this match, and obviously due to the fact that I just made that declarative statement, this will come off biased a bit.
I love bias.
This is a match where honestly I kind of feel like Brady winning would have gone like a big way. And I say that, A, obviously, yes, there's a little bias there. However, B, Serpentico's really not like a guy that can't take an L. We see him lose all the time. You know what I mean? It's not like it would have been outside the realm of reality. Also, commentary was focusing on Brady the entire match, like talking about Brady way more than they were Serpentico, talking about his acting career. No, like they sometimes throw out fun facts about the jobber, but this time it was the entire match. And it was like them talking about him constantly mixed with the out there gear and the color scheme and then the surfboard. And I'm kind of like, okay, wait a minute. They just got Brady over. And now a big win would really just be like, whoa, he did it. The kid pulled it off. Serpentico can't believe it. Like I was ready for that moment.
That sounds very biased.
You're very biased.
I'm extremely biased, but I'm just saying it comes off a little biased. I mean, I feel like they talk about the quote unquote jobbers enough, because what else are they going to talk about with Serpentico that we haven't heard 8,573 times?
I don't know if that tracks. I mean, I get what you're saying.
Oh, sorry,
but at the same time,
757,000.
Commentary is not in the business of running out of things to talk about when it comes to wrestlers. I mean, there are some wrestlers they talked about for 20 fucking years. So I'm sure they could find a way to enhance Serpentico's offense, especially knowing that he's getting the win, knowing that we've been watching him lose and get his ass kicked by the same two people for how long now? Like over half a year. Not to mention, I feel like Serpentico's the only person I've actually seen Cole Carter and Griff Garrison beat. Like these are the only people they get wins over. So once again, like Brady Roberts, this was a star-making moment for this young kid. And really, I can't help but feel his legs are just getting chopped out beneath him. Another young talent getting stifled from the top.
Was he local talent? I didn't look that up.
I didn't look it up either. I guess
okay, sorry.
No. Only
what a number one fan you are.
Well, I was obviously looking up his fucking acting career that they didn't shut up about, and his viral Nightwing movie.
Oh, I see it. Arrow, Lucifer. Oh, how delightful. I'm also busting your chops because it always makes me think of football. You ever see those
He's
football
also been
videos?
named one of Houston's best fitness trainers.
Oh, you ever see those videos?
So he's from Houston.
Where they're like, are you a diehard Cowboys fan? Where did Dak go to college? And it's like, oh my God.
Right.
And they're like, oh, if you don't answer that, you're not a fan. It's like, shut up.
Yeah.
That's why I was only busting your balls. But yeah, I like Brady Roberts. I hope we see him more.
So I don't believe he's local talent. And I do think if he was local talent, the fans would have been more behind him. But they were quick to start booing him as soon as he played to him with the surfboard.
It's probably because his name is Brady. It triggers something for a lot of people.
That's bullshit.
I mean, it's true.
His name is also Roberts. Think about all the fantastic Roberts people in the world.
Like who?
I don't really know. I was
Eric Roberts.
Boom. See?
He's an actor.
There you go.
Okay.
I know who Eric Roberts is.
I wasn't sure if you knew or not.
I know who Eric Roberts is. Nobody has more acting credits than Eric Roberts.
That's inaccurate, but okay.
That's a fact. Everybody knows that about Eric Roberts. And everybody knows that Zach Knight is Soraya's brother because commentary says it every time.
Oh my God. We should make a drinking game every time they mention he's Soraya's brother. Jesus Christ.
We have to. You know, it is just because they're like, well, Soraya doesn't have a last name and he does. So let's just not confuse anybody. Let's just remind them over and over and over.
I wasn't aware of that.
What do you make of his entrance gear that he took like 7 minutes to take off before the match could begin?
I don't know how I feel about him in general.
Well, I to be honest, as a wrestler, I do kind of like him.
He's
and I
did
did like this match and the way he was presented.
Right.
Right. Like when they let him loose, you know, kind of just let him, all right, this is a squash match. Go show what you can do. Be the beast. I'm not going to lie. He does come across very believable in that role. I do enjoy it. He's sound in the ring, which is to be expected. However, and I like a lot of the character work also. Of course, I'm a big fan of the after the win, handshake with somebody on the ground.
Code of honor.
The cone of honor, exactly. It was just I was really asking you because I'm curious how I feel about it also. Because when I see him walking down, I'm like, oh my God, he's got so much. What is this guy going to wrestle in a fucking suit? And then I realize he's taking everything off, and I'm like, okay, they couldn't have gotten him like a suit that you just rip off, like with a zipper or like.
Yeah, like when Cesaro used to rip off his whole suit, remember?
Exactly. That shit was so cool. And then I realized, okay, he's doing this. He's taking as much time as possible to get heat. He's trying to play to the crowd like, yeah, this match starts when I'm good and ready. So it's like, and I do think it's creative heel work. Haven't really seen that in a while. The way he made people wait for the final. He puts his hand to his hat. Wait for it. Okay, hat's gone. I'm ready to go. So, like, I do think it's innovative and it's creative, and I think it could work if it was a bigger crowd. Maybe it would have gotten a bigger response, and maybe I'm not here, torn about how I feel about it. But
maybe if people liked him.
Say it again?
I said maybe if people liked him, they would, like, appreciate
booing him. So you think it would be a good thing where, like every time he grabbed like a new article, take it off, take it, yeah, take it off. Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Puts his hand on his hat. Oh, ah!
I mean, sure. I just feel like I don't think many people like Zach Knight. I'm not sure. I don't think the crowd is very.
If they did like Knight, this stripping routine would be over. Like,
yeah, I think it would work. Yeah, I think it could work because it would be fun.
In that case, I think they have to shut up about him being Saraya's brother. I feel like we might have face possibilities if they stop talking about that.
Yeah, I don't know why they keep bringing that up. It's very annoying.
It's probably like you said about Serpentico. They just don't have nearly enough things to say.
Right. I like Sebastian Wolf. I thought he was pretty good.
Sebastian Wolf just doesn't have the budding acting career that Brady Roberts does, so they didn't have nearly enough.
His name is Sebastian. Sebastian, like the crab.
Which I thought was a lobster, like my entire
no,
life.
you didn't. No, you
really
didn't.
did.
He does have lobster claws, though, which is very confusing.
And he's fucking like bright red. That guy was supposed to be a lobster.
He's also, first of all, lobsters aren't red until you cook them. He's also very stupid because
he was cooking the whole movie.
He's also stupid because he says the seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake, and there's no seaweed in lakes.
Bro, you are so fucking harsh on one of the most beloved sea creatures of all time. He's not
the most beloved sea creature of all time.
I didn't say the, I said one of.
No, Flounder.
He's one of.
Flounder. Is he?
He's one
of. Sebastian one? I don't know. I beg to differ. I think those Finding Nemo characters are give them a run for their money.
So you mean if I go out to your average Disney fan and I say, hey, list your 5 most beloved sea creatures from the Disney franchises, Sebastian doesn't come up. Flounder gets talked about before Sebastian.
Yeah, I don't think people like Sebastian. I mean,
Ariel stumbled herself into having no voice for no reason.
Yeah, and Sebastian yells at her the entire time and rads on her and gets her cavern destroyed.
But he does it with catchy reggae music. That's what makes him so lovable.
He has the banging songs. He has the bangers.
This is why people kind of like Maui, even though they're not supposed to.
Yeah, Maui's a bad guy. People forget.
I know, but he's got the bangers.
Yeah. I don't know. How far I'll go is my shit.
Oh, yeah. Big jam. Big jam.
Yeah. Yeah, Moana's great. I digress.
Speaking of a big jam, loving the fact that we got our tag team champions, Undisputed Kingdom, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven on the show. Also love that we got Nick Comoroto and Jacoby Watson, a proving ground match as a tag team.
Yeah, I was so happy about that.
What did you make of the new happenings in terms of the way Jacoby Watts is kind of, I don't know, it doesn't really seem like he's trying to help Nick Comoroto anymore. Or is he? Does Nick Comoroto just need tough love? Does Nick Comoroto need to have someone in his corner, not to be tagged, just to be in his corner.
I wish they kind of played with that a little bit more during the match because we've been loving the backstage segment so much. I wish they played into a little bit more, but I'm all for them being tag team.
Yeah.
I think this is fantastic. We've been wanting this for a while instead of just the backstage segments. We're like, just put them together.
And
or
it's
even
like,
have him just in his corner.
With most things, whenever we get like a new story, not even just on Ring of Honor, just in wrestling in general, I'm usually able to kind of picture like what the best case scenario could be, so like or just different ways it could go. And there are plenty of ways I could see this go where it's great. But then like with Ring of Honor, it's tough to be so hopeful because sometimes it doesn't always get that crescendo you want. So like if this is going to go a route where, sure, against the tag team champions, Nick Comoroto can't do it himself. But should they get, let's just say, a tag team we got tonight, and we'll be talking about in a little bit. Let's say these two guys face off against the Bollywood Boys. And Nick Comoroto does, in fact, take them both out and does get the win, does kind of bring out the inner beast that Jacoby Watts is trying to bring out by being left to do it by himself. And next thing you know, maybe Serpentico and Angelico face these two. And another team where Nick Comoroto can kind of steamroll. And now Jacoby Watts doesn't know what to do with the monster he's created. And like we could go that way. But if they just keep it where Jacoby Watts is turning Nick Comoroto into a bigger loser than he even was, it's kind of like, all right, what are we doing?
Yeah, I don't want that. But I think it would be really cool if every time Nick Comoroto beats someone, he tries to get them to join under Jacoby Watts's like wing.
Right.
And his cult, as I like to call it.
Like one of the biggest reasons I was excited about this is because I was genuinely a fan of both guys. Nick Comoroto in particular, only because I felt like they were trying things with him for so long, nothing pulled. And I'm like, okay, this is something he's really putting his all into it. He changed his appearance. He's changing his character. Like, okay, this is his shot. And so I want this new storytelling to get him wins, to get him an actual push, to get him over in the best way possible. I don't want them to kind of create another character that can just be used to put others over whilst being able to entertain in a storytelling way, if that makes sense at all. Like, I'm glad they're finally giving these guys thicker characters, but I just want it to turn out good for Nick Comoroto.
Yeah, me too.
It doesn't have to go immediately yet, though. These are tag shows.
Right, 100%. We just build storyline, ROH.
Like, we need a little bit more foreplay before. I think this seems like something where you're almost skipping to the end. Like the whole where Jacoby Watts is just so obvious and in his face calling him a loser. Is this how you want to feel? Is this how you want to be? Like clearly setting him up. And then commentary starts harping on how manipulative he is. And the interesting thing is the fact that they put him against this heel team. Nick Comoroto did do a good job of getting the fans on his side.
Yeah.
So Nick Comorato's kind of walking towards face territory. Jacoby Watts is renting a vacation home in heel territory. Like really making it clear he's a bad person. You're not going to like this guy. Nick Comoroto is an innocent soul who thinks everyone should cheer for his mentor because I'm going to be great one day. And it's because of him. Praise be to he. So there's just so much entertainment possibilities here.
Right. I just don't want them to rush it. We need it slow. Give me some foreplay, baby.
Yeah, don't rush. We can take our time.
Right. Just like rushing to only be an hour.
We did mention the Bollywood Boys, so let's talk about them. They were a very, very pleasant surprise.
And Big Pop. They got a nice little like cheer. Yeah, they got a Big Pop. I was excited. I mean, I love the Bollywood
I love
Boys.
the decision to give them an entrance. I love the fact that they were able to really push it home with the Vancouver jerseys.
Yes.
The crowd, obviously the crowd knew who they were. So, and their hometown heroes kind of to that crowd. So it was a fun entrance and not just that, but it carried over. And I truly believe that the entrance was just as much a part of it. If the crowd just saw them in the ring and then popped huge, because, oh my God, Bollywood, the match still wouldn't have felt the same. But because we got the big entrance with the big pop, that entire match, we had the vibe of the crowd really getting behind their hometown heroes, really believing that their boys could get it done.
And really, really solidifying the fact that the premier athletes are heels and people not being behind them at all by putting these beloved Bollywood boys in their face and having them defeat the Bollywood boys really solidified them as heels.
Yeah, and last week, as we said, might have been a little too early for the premier athletes to be getting a win. Or I'm sorry, getting a loss.
A loss, yeah.
Considering the fact that they are being pushed so big and so strong. So it's a thing of like, well, listen, now here they are reminding you exactly what we do, how tough we are, how bad we can be. We don't care that we got the win. We're still going to provide a little devastation when that match ends. And then, as you said, these guys are the heels. These are the bad guys that were chased out by every good guy, including the champion we haven't seen since a few weeks ago. So somebody's got to come to the defense of the local hometown Bollywood boys, and it is the infantry.
I was happy to see the
Tattoos
infantry.
and tattoos. Love seeing them.
I love them.
Love that they also were able to kind of get the good crowd heat, the cheap pop with the Grizzlies jerseys that they were wearing.
Yep.
Coming out with the chairs, looking badass.
Love them.
It's
good. I like that. I like that. Like I said, they're solidifying the premier athletes as heels, and they're having all these other quote unquote good, face tag teams come out and tell them, no, you can't be doing this shit. You can't think you run shit because we run shit. And I really like that.
And it's also when two tag teams like this that are essentially coming out, the premier athletes have been getting mic time, whether it's via vignettes, whether it's via Smart Mark Sterling, they're getting opportunities to let the crowd know we are the it team, we are the it stable, no one's bigger, no one's badder, no one's in better shape, nobody's coming for titles more than we are. That was essentially their mission statement that they made a few weeks ago. They're coming, every champion is on notice in Ring of Honor because the premier athletes are here. And the infantry have been trying to make it clear they're coming for the tag titles. They deserve to be tag team champions. They 100%. Were screwed out of their last title shot. So when these two teams start coming to a head, I can't help but think that there might be number one contendership capabilities, in there.
Yeah, I mean, there has to be, right? Like, I feel like where are the number one contendencies for these tag teams? Like, we're slowly getting them, but not enough, in my opinion, There should be, challenges for them to compete for, to advance, to challenge the tag teams.
And you know what? To their credit, they have been giving us proving ground matches with the tag team champions fairly consistently, which, is kind of a chance to become number one contender. So totally fine. And listen, if next week they brought the Bollywood boys back for a proving ground match with the Undisputed Kingdom, I would be big fans of that. I feel like these would be the perfect choices for a proving ground match. I think proving ground matches, when your team gets that big type of response, gets that big entrance, I almost wonder if maybe this would have been the better choice for a proving ground match tonight. But this was a fun one. Love seeing them. Love seeing the dance.
I love the reaction that they got. That was my biggest thing. I was so happy that people were excited to see them.
No, yeah, they were really presented like stars. Like, if you just watch from entrance to the end of the infantry attack, Bollywood boys really came across like budding stars, like a tag team you'd want to bring back on this show. Even and yes, obviously that was a hometown crowd. That was a hometown pop that we're gushing over right now. But nonetheless, this is a really talented team that some of your favorite wrestlers, some of your favorite tag teams have been vouching for years. They never really got the credit or the opportunity they deserved during their time in WWE. They've not really been presented with an opportunity yet. This is it, and I feel like they really took their opportunity, made the most with it, and I hope the right people were paying attention.
Me too. Couldn't agree more.
Speaking of paying attention, you had to pay attention to the high flyers in this one. I love the way this match was presented at the beginning of it, where they were talking about these are 3 standouts. These are all 3. And the main thing I loved about it was that Aaron Solo, like, that's a big rub for him, the fact that he's included in this match. And they're talking about all 3 of these men are standouts, future stars fighting for their spot. And I don't know for sure if this is the first time, but it's gotta be one of, if not the first time, we saw Aaron Solo get an entrance. Maybe we've seen it like once or two. But
no, we saw it once before. Really we did. No, we saw it
like
before.
Once before.
Once before. I don't remember. We definitely saw it.
And like I was having PTSD fears when it came to this match, only because like I remember, I forget who it was, but there was a 4-way match. It was in the main event. And they did entrances for 3 guys, and then all of a sudden the 4th person is just in the corner getting announced.
Oh yeah, who was that?
I completely forget. But like I'm just kind of like, wait a minute, really? Like that makes no sense. He's in the main event. This is a match you're trying to sell to me as a big deal. Give everyone an entrance. So I was, relieved that Aaron Solo did get an entrance. I thought it was a fun one, especially being the only heel in this match. You needed to let him get some heat and convince anyone 100%. That he was going to be able to come out on top of this one.
100%. I love when everybody should get a friggin' entrance. I don't care what anybody says. Add 15 minutes to the show. I'll take an entrance.
Agreed. But yeah, we see Shotty Lee Johnson get the big win on this one. Loved seeing Action Andrade in there also. We got to see him pull double duty as a manager and as a standout here. I thought there was a good chance Action was going to get the win here.
Yeah, I was pretty sure Shotty Lee was going to win, but I thought Action Andrade could have got the win. Because he's so hot right now. I feel like he's on fire these past couple of weeks in everything. And with Top Flight and everything he's doing with Top Flight, that I could see him getting a big win here.
Well, also, I mean, last week we were talking about the fact that like maybe they're trying to spotlight Dante as a solo because we saw Action and Darius have a tag team match as Top Flight a few weeks ago. Then last week in the match, Darius was the one who got the win. I'm sorry, Dante was the one who got the win. So we're thinking maybe he'd be the standout. However, this week we do see the return of Dante and Darius as Top Flight and a return to singles action for Action Andrade. So I thought this was a good chance for them to keep the entire trio strong and kind of just keep them all strong in their own ways, where Action Andrade can win singles just as much as Dante can. And Action Andrade can do it all, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the 3 of them together. I like that Action is their like manager or like their third. I'm really liking the 3 of them as a unit.
I mean, I think it's at this point it's almost like interchangeable. I feel like they can kind of go either way.
Yeah.
It'll be questionable to see if they do that because just as we were talking about the fact that we think the Premier Athletes feud with the infantry can have some implications for who's the next number 1 contenders for tag team titles, commentary kind of made it clear that, and they do this from time to time, it's a good job by commentary, but that this match, this main event tag team match that happened between Top Flight and the Workhorsemen would also have some implications on who goes on to face our tag team champions next, as it should. And we see Top Flight, Dante, and Darius walk away with that. So once again, I'm not sure. Maybe ROH is just fooling around, just spinning the wheel. All right, you know what? Let's make you guys the team for this month. Okay, you know what? Let's try it with Action. Okay, I like it. Let's keep it. Let's go back. You know, like they're just going all over.
Right. I will say I was a little surprised that the Workhorsemen didn't win. Maybe it was just wishful thinking, but I was a little surprised. I was okay with either of them.
I wasn't surprised that all of they didn't win because they've clearly been more behind Top Flight. I was, and I found myself also just kind of happy to see the Workhorsemen in the main event.
Yes.
Like this is similar where I do kind of think it's too early to see them losing again because we just got them back last week. And I thought they did a great job bringing them back by having them be the cold opening the show real quick with a passion promo from JD Drake. Then boom, Workhorsemen are back. Then they win the tag team match pretty decisively. So I liked that they got a main event from that. Would have loved to see them win and see ROH actually commit to a tag team and give a tag team like the undefeated streak they love throwing to singles wrestlers so much.
Right.
Seems like you got to be tag team champions to get an undefeated streak in the tag team division.
Is that how it is? I hope that's not.
Seems like
maybe. I don't know the rules on how you end up getting a shot at the championship. I thought you just like yell at someone and then say you get it.
Pretty much.
It's very weird. Like, can I just come out and be like, I want a shot at your title, and then you get one?
Well, listen, if the Bollywood Boys get signed, everyone's going to say it's because that one guy brought that sign that said sign the Bollywood Boys. So maybe these wrestlers need to just bring their own signs. Hey, give me a title shot, or just give insert name here a title shot, and then hand those out to the audience and let them
you have to make fun of their mom. I think that's what you have to do. You have to make fun of the champion's mom, and then he gets so mad at you, then you have a match.
Don't be talking about my mama.
I just saw him on a show the other
Did
day.
you?
An old one, yeah. I was like, oh.
Was it Scrubs?
No, it was Reba.
It was what?
Reba.
Oh,
the Reba McEntire show. I've never before this, watching it, and I'm like, oh, there he is. There he plays a nerd that plays like a clarinet or something.
Of course.
Yeah. Does. So he would insult the champion's mama, and then and then he'd fight Kyle Fletcher for like the TV title.
I would pay good money to see JD Drake and Anthony Henry walk out and just randomly start talking shit about Michael Bennett and Matt Taven's moms. Like, just out of nowhere. That would be hysterical.
That would be hilarious.
I will say this, though. I really do think JD Drake and Anthony Henry could get over big time with the ROH audience as baby faces. Like,
100%.
I think they're utility players. You can use them however you want.
100%.
But I think, like, with their skill set and how impressive they are and how surprising. And we spoke last week about how Anthony Henry is the faster, but he's also got power. And JD Drake is the bigger, but he can fly. So it's like, with that, they give you so many moments that the crowd would eat them up. And just really want to see them win, want to see them beat people up, respect how far they've come. I mean, we talk about their in-ring abilities, the stories of the struggle of both of these men getting knocked down. Definitely. Can't forget JD Drake's phrase, you can't hit me as hard as life can. That phrase goes for both of these men. Like, come the fuck on. How is it not the ultimate babyface tag team story of redemption of the audience? The audience that just went to Twitter and helped get this guy his job back.
Right,
like, let's
100%.
not ignore that. You know what I mean? Like, it's right there waiting for you.
Yeah, so like, just do it. And they could be those fun baby faces that just like make fun of everybody and like do silly, like, they talk, JD Drake talks and he's funny and he's quick.
JD Drake's got a big personality.
A big personality. So it would be perfect to be a good baby face in this company.
You know what they would be? They would be similar to a Sheamus and Cesaro in that they would just be the guys having fun beating people up.
Yes. Oh man.
Like how Sheamus and Cesaro kind of like, I forget exactly what it was, but I think they got into like, maybe I'm making this up, but didn't they get into like a bar fight and were just found themselves on the same side and was like, oh, you fight? Okay, I fight. Okay, we're friends now. Like, I almost feel like that would be like maybe a JD Drake and Anthony Henry thing to do where they just have a good time beating people up. And it's like, you like to fight. Here, hit him. I like to fight. Give him to me. I'll hit him. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just enjoying how badly they can brutalize their opponents. JD Drake making somebody's white skin go beet red and then just laughing, just pointing and giggling, cackling, laughing.
Yeah. And then being like, hey, Henry, you get in on this. And then him running
your
and
turn,
trying
your
to stop him
turn.
too. Your turn. Yeah. They would feed off of each other.
Or Anthony Henry rather be like, I want to do it next. Me, my turn. Like, come on, give me some of that. Yeah. Like,
they're
that's what I want to see.
They're
from
funny.
These guys.
Yeah.
I hope somebody backstage is taking notes.
100%.
Of what these guys have yet to show a television audience.
Yeah, definitely.
Speaking of what a television audience is getting, the TV championship will be on the line next week. Dalton Castle returning to television to take on Kyle Fletcher. before we jump into this, what happened to Johnny TV? Like, speaking of the TV championship, speaking of Dalton Castle, Johnny TV is not TV ready anymore. Is that what happened? What happened?
I think he was so upset that he lost that he had to go back to radio.
Maybe he's on the mountains looking for the boys again. Like,
maybe he needs the boys to help him.
That
Poor
must
boys.
be it. Where's
I don't
Taya?
know.
Where'd they all go?
They said they're taking a break.
Well,
I
who
honestly
okayed
don't-
this break?
I don't know. Didn't we see Taya recently? I feel like we saw her recently.
No, we saw her in like a triple threat match like a week or two ago. But
Yeah, but we
Yeah,
didn't see
I
Johnny.
missed it.
Maybe Johnny's very upset. I told you, he went back to radio. That's it.
that must be it. That must be
Yeah.
it. But Dalton Castle is going back to his championship ways, or at least he will attempt to next week. Kyle Fletcher versus the Peacock, Dalton Castle. Surprised? Like, I don't know why. I feel like they don't usually do this where they just randomly kind of announce a match. Like, if they do announce a match, it would almost be a setup that happened. But normally,
Yeah, like a backstage
pretty
thing.
much all of our matches, we don't know what they are until like the week.
Twitter.
Like, I feel like ROH TV doesn't really schedule matches in advance. But I'm glad that they're doing it here. I assume this is going to be the main event.
I hope it's the main event. It should be the main event, don't you think?
I mean, once again, that's why I said I assume it would be.
Imagine-
It has to be.
Imagine Stingray comes out and costs Kyle Fletcher the title.
Oh my god, I forgot Stingray. That's right, he's the boy
That'd be
now.
amazing. What's his name in real life? What's
Paul
his
Walter
name?
Hauser?
Yeah, that guy, Stingray. That'd be amazing.
Why ask? Why ask if you're gonna go insult the man
Because if
again?
it was like John Smith, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's easy. But I'm not repeating that long name. Too long.
You didn't have to repeat the whole name. I said the whole name. You could have just said Paul or Mr. Hauser.
Yeah, Mr. Hauser.
Or
Oh my god,
PWA.
imagine.
Yay.
I
What?
hope he comes out. I hope he comes out to be at Dalton's side since he's missing the boys.
So I don't believe Dalton Castle really does have a shot of winning this.
No, he's not winning. I was just.
I know they've got a pay-per-view coming up in like a month, so maybe they set up like a rematch, but I kind of feel like Fletcher beats Dalton Castle, but then the next challenger presents himself. Maybe Kyle Fletcher grabs a mic. This is the best you've got. The best is not better than the, and just goes on. Then the champ, talks about how he's the forever champion. And then boom, we get somebody who just blows our socks off. And we're like, oh shit, the championship's in jeopardy. Off the top of my head, I have no idea.
Me neither.
Maybe AR Fox. That would just be in my world. AR Fox. would
Eddie Kingston's
get
gonna
the
come
big
out.
pop. Who?
Eddie Kingston.
Yeah. Okay.
With his
Eddie
wobbly
Kingston's
leg.
hurt. Yeah,
I
he's gonna
know.
come out on crutches.
He's gonna come out on crutches. Mark Briscoe's gonna challenge him for both titles, and then we'll never see that title ever again.
Bro, who's challenging Mark Briscoe?
I don't know. I thought
I feel like
Mark Briscoe.
the ROH championship comes with a stipulation that you get off on Thursdays.
It's like the
congratulations,
best
champion.
belt ever. Like, I want to be ROH champion, so I don't have to ever go on my show.
It's like the manager who's never working,
No.
never in his office, never around,
Yeah.
never on the Zoom calls.
Do you know what we call those people? Unicorns. Because you never
Is
see
Mark
them.
Briscoe a
And
unicorn?
Mark Briscoe is 100%. Mark Briscoe is 100% a unicorn.
Are you on a motorcycle right now?
Yo, I told you, these kids, ever since it got nice out, because it's almost 9:00, they're like, oh, they're on ATVs. It's not even motorcycles, it's the ATVs, and they do donuts in front of my house.
Fucking close.
I know, I wanted to finish my story, and I was like, oh no, and I was about to mute my mic. Ridiculous.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
I
we
think they
call
got
them
the
unicorns.
point. Mark Briscoe is a unicorn. We now know
He's a
that. He needs
unicorn.
to come out
That's
with
it.
the horns.
Yeah.
And guys,
They only want
if
one.
unicorns means fantastic people or fantastic nouns means people, places, or things, you guys are all unicorns in our books. Thanks for hanging out with the Heel Marks. Once again, follow us everywhere at the Heel Marks. Do not forget to support thebodyslam.net network at slamchats.com. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the share button. Don't forget to hit the comment button. We always want to hear from you. So next week, we want to hear you loud. We want to hear you proud. Same time, same place. Do not forget, you guys are the best. We're just trying to be like you because we're not just smart marks.